Hello, my name is Tom and I speak English. Cześć, ja się nazywam Tom i jag umiem mówić på polsku. Hej, jag heter Tom och jag pratar på svenska. Hallo, mein Name ist Tom und ich spreche Deutsch. Hej, mitt namn är Tom och jag talar dansk. Jag känner lite norsk också. Hello, my name is Tom and I'm a polyglot. Truth be told, I didn't even know what that word meant until I watched and heard it on a Nathaniel video. Polyglot is basically just a person who speaks and understands several languages. For some people this seems extremely impressive, but for me it wasn't a big deal since I've been a polyglot ever since birth, and I always assumed or thought that everybody knew several languages. In today's video, I want to share with you how I learned each language, and also I want to share my thoughts on why I believe it is important to learn at least one more language. So let me tell you how I learned 5 languages. Well, first of all, my first language is actually a split. You see, my parents are both from Poland, and actually I was born in Poland. But when we moved to Sweden, I was about 2 years old, and that's when I started to learn both Polish and Swedish. So at home I was speaking Polish, and at school I was speaking Swedish. I think that the combination at early age makes people very good at languages, because I remember when watching movies in English, I was very quick to learn English just by watching movies and listening to songs. Okay, so my best tip to learn a new language is this. I remember that when learning English in school, it was a bit of a breeze. I didn't even study and I just nailed each exam with perfection. My biggest advice here is just to watch a lot of movies in the language you are trying to learn and then try to understand without using subtitles. Okay, next up was German. This is a language I learned in school. Now, to be fair, my German skills are very basic. I understand when Germans talk and I can have a simple conversation in German, but I didn't watch German movies, so I didn't get the edge that I got from watching American movies. But I also have a tip at the end of this video where I share with you how you can learn a new language in 7 days. Now, Danish came much later. See, I was raised and lived most of my life in Stockholm. That's like in the middle of Sweden. Most people there don't speak or understand Danish. But when I moved to the south of Sweden just a few years ago to Helsingborg, which is very close to Denmark, and when I started to work here, it was very often I would work with Danes. Now, because of this is so common here, you usually speak in Swedish and Danes understand, and when Danes talk in Danish, you are supposed to understand them. This was a bit hard at first, but after 3 or 4 years I got used to it. Truth be told, for a Swede it's really not that hard to learn Danish. The languages are very similar. Today I have no problem understanding when Danes talk or write to me. People often ask me if I get words mixed up in my head, and truth be told, I don't ever mix languages by accident. It's like if the languages lie in different areas of the brain. When I speak Polish, I'm in Polish mode, and when I speak Swedish, I'm in a completely different mode. Okay, so which language is my favorite? My favorite language is English. It's only because movies make English sound really cool. A lot of times I will say stuff in English because it just sounds a lot better. This is something that I noticed that a lot of people here in Sweden are doing. Okay, and which of these languages is the hardest? Definitely Polish, because it's a Slavic language, meaning it's very different from the other languages I know. English basically arrives from German, or at least in part, and German, Swedish, and Danish are Germanic languages, so Polish definitely sticks out with different letters and a very different sounds. Okay, and now I wanted to share with you what I've learned from learning all of these languages and why I think it is important to learn at least one more language. Because here's the thing, language is not just a series of words with information. There is so much more in language. There is a whole world of culture and life philosophy baked into languages. One of the weirdest things growing up was when I was telling Polish jokes in Swedish and vice versa. When I told a Swede a Polish joke, they just didn't get it. And when I told a Swedish joke to a Polish person, they also just didn't get it. Because jokes are usually leaning on a cultural thing, and it's actually the same thing with everything you say in a certain language. Okay, so in Polish, if you want to say that something is really good, you say that it is cholernie dobre, which means that it's damn good. But in Sweden, you would instead say that something is skitgott, which translates shit good, which makes no sense to people in other countries, but in Sweden it makes full sense for whatever reason. It's the same thing in English. You can say something is like f***ing good, and that also doesn't really make sense in any other language than in America. There are so many examples of different expressions in different languages that you just get a broader meaning of life by learning different ways of expressing. I think that languages tell us a lot about people and how we live our lives, and different languages and cultures just have different perspectives. And I think, at least from my experience, that you can learn a lot from each culture. New perspectives of life gives a better grasp and understanding on life in general. Okay, so if you want to learn a language in 7 days, I recommend that you watch Nathaniel Drew's video, How I Learned Italian in 7 days. Put a link to his video in the video description. It's super inspiring for anyone who's trying to learn a new language in a quick and effective way. In short, you learn the 20-80 rule, when you basically understand that only 20% of the vocabulary is used in everyday use. So instead of learning all of 100,000 Italian words, make a list of 1,000 words that you think you will be needing and memorize these 1,000 words. But Nathaniel Drew explains the process way better than me, so check out his video and tell him I said hi. Okay, that's all I had for today. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have a question for me, you can put it in a comment below in one of the 5 languages that I have mentioned. Goodbye, hej då, do widzenia, farväl, auf Wiedersehen. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed that, and now it's time for the whole behind the scenes vlog. This is something new that I've started recently. It's April 2020, and we're still in this historically odd situation where basically the entire world is stuck at home because of this virus. So why did I choose to make this particular video? I don't know, I just talked with a friend, and this friend of mine just asked me if it's confusing to know both Polish and Swedish, and I was like, nah man, it's like, do you ever get confused knowing English and Swedish? And I just started to think a bit about this whole topic about talking different languages, and as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, it's not anything weird to me, it's just something that I've always experienced. And so I just felt I wanted to share and make a video about my experience learning different languages, knowing different languages. To me, it's nothing strange or difficult or odd. It's just as ordinary as learning anything else, really. But it's a fun topic. You know, if you think it's impressive to know 5 languages, that's like nothing. There are people who speak 12 languages and 24 languages. It's really quite interesting. It's really hot today, and my allergies have kicked in, and I am still on this allergy vaccination thing, and I'm gonna be on it for like 3 years. So unfortunately, I have felt no effect of it yet because I'm still feeling the allergies, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. I have this new computer here, the MacBook Pro 16-inch. It's a beast. I've been editing a lot of videos on it lately, and it's just working so amazingly fast. I only wish it had more storage. I'm starting to regret a little bit that I didn't get the 1 terabyte. But most projects work just fine to edit on this computer, and I'm thinking about investing in an external SSD. So if you have any tips on good SSDs, let me know in the comment section. Speaking of this computer, the video I did about it last week, the MacBook Pro 16-inch review, is really popular. It's turning out to be my most popular video on this channel. I'm getting lots of views every single day, so that's pretty exciting. I'm just hoping that it's not going to turn this channel into a tech channel because I kind of feel like I want to talk about other things than geeky computer stuff. Not that I mind, I'm just saying it's not exactly the type of videos that I want to be making on this channel. So what else? I mean, you know, Sweden is basically just the same as it's been these last couple of weeks. We've been getting a lot of criticism from other countries and Donald Trump for not closing down our society more, which is interesting. I think since this is such a new situation, every country is basically experimenting. Nobody really knows what the best approach is. And only time will tell if it turns out that Sweden was doing something right or wrong. We'll see how it goes. And also I think that different countries are very different. Like for instance, I think that a place like New York, where people are living very crowded, I can imagine that closing down everything and keeping people away from each other is very important. But here in Sweden, you know, even in the bigger cities, there isn't really that much people. It's not a dense population here in Sweden, even in the bigger cities. But again, you know, I'm no expert. We'll see how it goes. I don't feel any fear at the moment, except for getting the virus. I'm sort of wondering if I can take it or if I would get really, really sick. I just don't know. So I wonder about the future, and I'm kind of enjoying the solitude because I'm normally a very introverted person and nothing has really changed for me, but I'm kind of enjoying the fact that it's more okay to be at home. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel this pressure that I need to go out and do something. I can just be at home and relax and reflect on stuff, and I kind of like it. I've been thinking a lot about minimalism lately. I've been thinking a lot about streamlining and getting rid of more stuff. I really want to try to sell more stuff, but it's always been my Achilles heel. I've always had a tough time selling stuff to strangers. I've always been the kind of person who would rather throw things away than selling something. Or even giving something away is a lot easier for me. But the idea of selling, I could never become a person working with sales. That's definitely not my thing. I don't know why. It's just something that's always felt very hard for me. I've always been afraid, like, what if I get ripped off, or what if they accuse me of ripping them off, or what if it gets lost in the mail, or what if something goes wrong? And it's tricky. And at the same time, I have no problems buying stuff from strangers, but it's just the selling part that I don't like. So I don't know, it's something to work on. It's a challenge, and it's something I'm gonna try to do this year. I'm gonna try to sell stuff. As I mentioned in my minimalism video, I want to try to reduce the amount of stuff that I have. I have so many cameras and lenses and computers and gadgets and smartphones, and I just want to try to minimize the amount of stuff that I have. Anyway, that's all I had for today. Hope you enjoyed this video and this behind the scenes vlog, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.